Hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Okay, here we go. I was driving through an area of town yesterday, and I. Here's the deal. Whatever people try to send to you as far as getting you to go to certain areas, go to certain places, or whatever, like to set you up, and I've talked about this before, and I even did a video in depth on it yesterday. But I'm going to make this a quicker video and I'm going to release it immediately. Whatever people try to get you to go to a certain area, go to a certain store, restaurant, facility, whatever, so that they can have access to you to be able to play some kind of mind game, some kind of trickery, some kind of setup attack against you. Like, God is with you regardless of what people try to send to you. So yesterday I was out and about in an area of town, and I just got the, drive by this place. And I believe that it was God telling me to drive by this place. And I was initially going to stop by this specific corner store. But God had me to go, I believe God had me to go to another store down the way, because I was going to be passing by this business that I used to frequent quite regularly. And this business was had an owner and or had owners that were trying to siphon from me my business acumen so that they could improve their business, increase their sales, and so on and so forth. And I gave this guy a lot of information for free. Discounts do not count. Discounts do not count. Okay? And this person thought that because he was giving me a slight discount, which really was nothing to him, for the cost that he was paying for the items that I was getting, he thought that he was safe from any kind of judgment. But he's not. And this is a business where there are a lot of people that are in this business, and there are more people, or there's businesses that have more money than him that have been able to expand their business all around town. Not just in this town, but in other towns. Not only have they been able to expand their business to multiple locations in various towns, they're open 24 hours. Now, this is a brother duo that were owning these businesses, and they originally had 3, and it went down to 2, and now they have 1, and they're about to lose that business that they have. They're actually not doing any business. And God had me to drive by there to see that their storefront was dead. Nobody was going in that business. I drove by it twice. Nobody was in that business. That's why God had me to go pass by that facility. And he had me go to a different corner store. And at this corner store, the vibe was a little bit but I was able to handle it, and God was with me the entire time. But the original corner store that I was going to go to, God did not want me to go at the time I was going to go, because there was going to be a setup there. And when I eventually went back to that storefront to get an item that God specifically told me to go in and purchase from that storefront, the person that was trying to enact this setup was actually still in the store, hanging around the store. And the attack was not what they were trying to do. It didn't work out because I didn't go at the time that they were expecting me to go. I said all that because the business owners, they were playing that same game. They wanted me to go to their business and frequent their business because it was attracting more business, and they were learning things from me and trying to expand their business and better their business. But in the end, they fucked themselves over, because I knew what they were doing, God knew what they were doing, and now they're down to 1 storefront. The second storefront that they have is closed. They changed. They changed the name of it, and I don't even believe it's still under the same ownership. Somebody else owns it. because they had to get out of that one. And now they're just in this one location, and they're being basically snuffed out by this heavier competition that is able to carry a lot more product, open 24 hours, they have a lot more capital, and they have multiple locations around town. And they're slowly snubbing them out of the business that they were in and that they were doing very well in. I was driving down the street in that same area of this copycat transgender girl that basically was only transgender because of what it could afford them in regard to getting supply from women, because they're not interested in men, they're interested in women. And they also did not take their transition seriously. They were playing around with their transition, and they were only in transition because they were trying to manipulate other people around them into gaining for them. Now, this person who has the same name as this street that I drove down, I honestly tried to stay away from this street because of this person's name. And I believe that is where this person actually resides, in that area. And what God shared with me as I was driving down that street is that that girl, that wannabe transgender, that I actually helped, I actually tried and did my best to improve their life. I helped them in so many different ways. And that person ended up backstabbing and betraying me and setting me up. They're apologetic. And because they're no longer able to have access to me, they don't have my phone number, they're trying to find various ways to communicate with me that they are apologetic for what they did. Because the backfire is now happening in their life even more than it was a few years ago. This person's lies caught up with them. This person's lies, not only about me, but about them, who they really are, what they're really about, have caught up with them. The people that this wannabe transgender turned against me with lies and used to come against me with lies have turned on her. And they've turned on her in the worst way. Not only, and I mentioned this before in another video a while back, not only is this girl diseased, she has advanced stages of an illness, of a sickness, of a disease that she is not going to get rid of. It's not going to go away. And she is not finding any favor from anybody that was once on her team or on her side or that was helping her. She's not even finding favor within the coven that really did not want her in the coven, but they brought her into the coven on behalf of somebody that passed away, that was the best friend of the head of the coven. And that friend was a homosexual. And the reason why the head of that coven was such good friends with that homosexual that eventually passed away was because that homosexual was engaging in different wicked behaviors that was benefiting and bettering the head of the coven. So the head of the coven befriended him, became really good friends with him. They became, as they call, bosom buddies. Not sexual, but they became bosom buddies, best of friends, because the head of the coven was able to get a lot off of that homosexual. And that homosexual had that wannabe transgender attached to him that he was helping, and had the transgender be a part of the coven and or be included in the coven on behalf of that homosexual man that eventually passed away. This is a long time ago. And ever since, this wannabe transgender has been a part of this coven. He has given nothing. Transgender has given nothing but hell to that coven. That transgender is part of the main reason why the coven has declined as much as it has over the years, because of that person's attachment to their coven, which the head of the coven never really wanted in his coven. So now, because she had the backing of the coven at one point in time, she no longer has that. Because she had gained some favor among other individuals because of the access to the coven, what they were able to do for other individuals, and so on and so forth, those people now see that coven as toxic. They see that coven as bad news. Don't play with them, don't mess around with them, don't help them, don't go to their businesses, don't help them at all, period. Distance yourself from them. They cause issues, they cause problems, they destroy people's lives. That transgender, that wannabe transgender, caused damage and death and destruction in so many other people's lives based off of that person's insecurities, that person's lies and manipulative ways. So many people have suffered just because of that person and that coven. And she's wanting to apologize, and the reason why she's wanting to apologize is because she has lost everybody that was once on her side but not really on her side, and she's trying to go back to those that were actually on her side and helped her out, and she has no access. She has no way of speaking to me, getting a hold of me, or even, I don't even want to hear it. And God is not allowing her access because He's aware of everything that she did, just like everybody that knew her or was around her was aware of everything that she did. All the lies, all the deceit, all the mistreatment, all the bullying to come against me when I was one that actually was helping her. And she threw it all away. She blew it. She blew it. Now, she owes me. You see, because of her behavior, she cost me not only connections to other individuals that were supposed to be a blessing to me, but she turned it into them blessing her instead of me because of the lies that she told about me. She has to pay all that back. There is a balance due. There is a large balance that is due, and she cannot pay it back. And so it's going to be taken from her in other ways. This is what I'm talking about. You gotta be careful about who you allow around you, who you help, because you might be the person that genuinely and authentically wants to help other people get out of bad situations or to better their lives, because you know what it feels like to be in dire straits. And you'll have those people that you're helping that will see you as a threat, see you as a problem, make you out to be something that you're not in the eyes of other people, so that they will be seen on that pedestal that you rightfully should be on. And then when the truth comes out that the person that's on the pedestal really shouldn't be on the pedestal, and that they got on the pedestal based off of lies and deceit and manipulation and trickery, they will yank that person off that pedestal so damn fast. And then they're trying any and everything that they can to raise the right person back up on the pedestal that should have always been on the pedestal. But they're not able to do so because when they had the opportunity, they chose not to. They believed the lies. They gave in to the manipulation, because usually with that manipulation, especially with this person used other women as well as other cross-dressers, drag queens, transgender individuals, used them as pawns to gain favor from other individuals. Sexual. She used them as sexual pawns. And I saw this person long time ago. I saw them from across the room at a party. This was at a large Texas party, fetish event that I had a booth at. And I saw this person from at a distance, look in my direction and basically lock eyes with me and saw me as her competition at that time, long before she ever started working for me, long before I ever met her or knew who she was. And at that time, she had 3 insecure girls attached to her, and that was her specialty. Finding insecure girls to attach to so that he could drain them for their energy, for whatever it is that they had to use for himself, and then prop himself up as a transgender. You gotta be careful who you come across, because I remembered seeing that person years ago, and yet and still I decided to help them because I thought that they had changed or that they were better. And they never were. That's what I have to deal with as a child of God, as someone that is known. Because people knew who I was long before I knew who I was. And as I said, that insecure wannabe transgender saw me years ago before I even transitioned. Long before I transitioned, she saw me years ago as a threat. She's on her deathbed, and I'm being respectful even though I really don't have to be. I'm being respectful, calling that person her, she, where I really know it's he, him, because he was basically being fake and fraudulent, trying to present himself to be something that he honestly and truthfully never was. That wannabe transgender is a problem that is in a lot of people, not everyone, but in a lot of people. That is the summation of someone that wants to be a woman, wants to be a female so bad that will set up anybody, destroy anybody in order to look and be something that they know they're not, because they will be seen in the eyes of other people as being something better than who they currently are. So anything that they have to do to achieve whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, and for that person, it was not only power, domination, but that was also looking like a woman, being treated like a woman, being respected like a woman, being loved like a female, and so on and so forth. But that person never gave any of that out to anybody else. She gave out hell to other people in order for her to get what other people naturally have within them. Her demise is slow, but it's happening, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. And everybody knows like what she's done, so like she has nobody, so she's trying to find anybody. even going back to people that she fucked over, knowingly fucked over, trying to go back to them, and they're not at all interested. I'm gonna leave it at that. Gotta